I'd like to have the opportunity to serve for another 4 years because these major changes that we've started in education and healthcare and really in our approach to jobs and the economy are very, very important, but they're fragile. And they need to be nurtured, and they need to be able to take root so that at the end of another 3 or 4 years, we do have a state where we have the kind of workforce and training that we need, that our kids actually have the opportunity to take full advantage of the educational opportunities of our public school system, where healthcare costs are going down and we're healthier, and we're beginning to actually address the problem of those middle-income jobs that just aren't there today. Over the last 10 years inside our general fund, there's been this trend where we're spending more and more on public safety, corrections, the human consequences of neglect and addiction and abuse, and we're taking those dollars out of investments in children and families and education. And I think there's a difference between expenditures and investments. Investments actually yield a huge return in the future. Expenditures just take care of problems that could have been prevented if you'd spent early on. So to reverse that trend, we have made huge transformation in our healthcare system. It makes a lot more sense to spend on prevention and wellness and taking care of people with chronic conditions in their home and in the community than having them bounce in and out of the hospital and the emergency room. So we're saving hundreds of millions of dollars for the state of Oregon in the process. And those are resources that we can pump right back into early childhood and education. We've changed our early childhood delivery systems to ensure all kids, regardless of their race, their home language, geography, income, are ready to learn when they get to kindergarten. What happens to a child before they get to kindergarten has everything to do with whether they're going to be successful in education and in college and career. So what this will look like 4 or 5 years down the road is you're going to see a dramatic reduction in that achievement gap. Our educational investments are going to be hugely important because the people who are getting squeezed out are people who are doing sort of low-skill, repetitive jobs. So the higher the educational level and skill level, the more likelihood that these people are going to find well-paying jobs. And so that's why a commitment to consistently implement our education reforms over the next decade and adequately fund them is absolutely essential. If you look at the notion that I think underlies America, that hard work is rewarded with a better life, with upward mobility, for a growing number of people in the state, that's simply not true. And so in our economic development strategies, we need to not just ask how many jobs have we created, but what kind of jobs are we creating? If the only question you ask is how many jobs have we created, you don't have to worry about who's getting them, where they are, how much they pay, or the environmental cost of creating them. So we have to begin to have that conversation, I think, as part of the Oregon business plan. And I believe that there's an openness and willingness to do that. You know, we've created 60,000 jobs. We've really accelerated the recovery of the manufacturing sector. We've done some remarkable things in rural Oregon in terms of water availability over on the east side and forest collaboratives. And you know, we've reduced unemployment by 2 percentage points, so we should be very proud of those accomplishments. A lot more to do, but I mean, that's very, very significant. I think people in this country and probably in the state are looking for some sign, some indication that their public institutions can actually act in the larger public interest, and that's exactly what we did in Oregon. You know, we have demonstrated over and over again that it is possible, certainly in this state, to create a political center that is motivated by doing the right thing for each other and the right thing for Oregonians. And I believe that we can make that the norm rather than the exception. A second term really is about taking what we've begun and making sure that it's implemented. You know, if I can get a shot to continue these things for another 4 years, it would be a wonderful opportunity to serve in this state.